Palmer, thank you for sharing your observations on the quarterback, man.
Get out of here.
We will catch you later on this week, brother. Thank you.
See y'all.
All right. So, Ro, I want to follow up on what you said about Georgia fans respecting Carson Beck and then touch a little bit more on Georgia's offense, which had a night and day performance from its first scrimmage. How should Georgia fans treat Carson Beck?
Man, listen, I've seen so much of, oh, man, you just have to hope that Carson has the it factor like Stetson Bennett. And, oh, you got to just hope, Stetson Bennett was nails in the biggest moments. Listen, I've always been a Stetson Bennett defender. I always have. And I was very consistent in that. Listen, and he still surprised me. Okay, he did. I was the guy that didn't think he'd ever end up in New York for the Heisman. I thought that the game had to go a specific way, but the Stetson could win you a national championship. Folks, Stetson Bennett was not always, clutch gene, it factor, best in the biggest moments. His first couple, 2 or 3 rolls at that were not great. Alabama 2020, Georgia led 24-20 at the half. Stetson threw 2 picks in the second half, and Georgia kind of crumbled. SEC championship game. Now, I'll add the caveat that Georgia tied that game at 24-24, and then Alabama got the ball twice before Georgia got it back again, and they scored touchdowns on both drives. It was 38-24 before Georgia ever got a chance at it. But ultimately, Stetson threw the kind of clincher for Alabama interception to battle for basically to put the game on ice. I say all that to say, listen, you didn't have a whole lot of, patience with Stetson Bennett. And this, this is almost like a church thing. Like if this just only reaches one, it's worth it. Right. If this only reaches one person, have the patience with Carson that you didn't really afford to Stetson. Listen, Todd Monken was painted as a moron for not, for believing in Stetson. And because folks had already made up their mind. Well, guys, Carson's going to throw the ball into the hands of the other team. Stetson did it 21 times, all right, in his whole career. He did it 21 times. So Carson's going to do it a time or two. There's going to be a 3 and out. I guarantee it. There's going to be a 3 and out. There's going to be a sack. He's going to get sacked. Breaking news. I see the future right now. He's going to get sacked. But be patient with the guy because he might not have the it factor or the clutch gene, or he might not be at his best in his biggest moments, right away. But he can develop that just like Stetson Bennett did. Stetson wasn't, Stetson wasn't the stone cold fourth quarter biggest moment killer until the fourth quarter of the national championship game against Alabama. From there on out, he was absolute nails, and he deserved every bit of praise that he got. So just be cautious about that. And, I think that was a point that kind of came across to me as we were, kind of communicating with folks, on the message board today.
Tough act to follow,
who does Carson Beck throw his first touchdown to?
I'm going to say Arian Smith. I'm going to say Arian Smith.
Palmer, you can guess too. I see you in here still. I'll say
he's going to throw it to Uncle Glenn Hartley.
Palmer's back.
Jesus Christ. Get out of here, Palmer.
Palmer's haunting the show.
You're back on the stream, Palmer.
He's got a Papal hat on.
Who's your guess? Who's your guess for who the first touchdown goes to?
Well, I just put it in the comments. The other team.
Holy oh, wow. Palmer. Oh, wow. All right. Palmer's out. Palmer's out again.
Never let him back in.
I'm kicking him out. I'm saying Dominic Lovett, and that will be my segue to how much ass Georgia's offense kicked it this past scrimmage. Jake Rowe, you had a few details on that.
Yeah, we had a pretty good report over there at DawgsHQ. Dominic Lovett had a long touchdown catch. Andrew Paul also had a very long touchdown catch. Carson threw a touchdown pass to Brock Bowers in the red zone. I told somebody asked me, hey, how's the scrimmage going? I was like, man, you may not believe it. Brock Bowers is really good. He caught a one-handed pass apparently over Kamari Lassiter, where Kamari Lassiter, I had like 3 people tell me this, said Kamari was in perfect position. He covered Brock about as good as you could possibly cover him. and he made a one-handed catch. They said, think about that catch he made against South Carolina last year on the fade route. Yep. Except he just made it one-handed. Somebody was in his hip pocket. So, that's going to help a lot of things too. But Georgia's offense looked a lot better. Kirby even said they kind of came out a little bit faster. I heard the number 2 offensive line had a really good day. And I think it's worth pointing out that Austin Blasky, Dylan Fairchild, Jared Wilson, and Micah Morris. Chad Lindbergh plays right tackle for that group. I wouldn't quite put him in this top 10 yet, but Georgia is confident in 4 of those guys, 4 of the number 2 offensive line to play winning football. I think they would feel really good about any of those guys having to step in and play ball. And that's a very big time strength of this team. But offense had a good day, more so the first offense than anything else. Not a lot of running the ball, not a lot of Dejon Edwards, not a lot of Ladd McConkey. You will have a depth chart projection for offense and defense early this coming week here at DawgsHQ, but ultimately a solid day for the offense and a bounce back, but especially for Carson Beck, who did throw 1 interception. I think Dan Jackson, Dirty Dan, snagged him in red zone, but other than that, was a very clean day for him.
Clean day for Dirty Dan. I like that.
Clean day for Carson Beck.
Someone told us to zoom in on the 1 snap on Jake Roos's hat. Can you show us what you got going on?
No, listen, I got a dome. I got a dome like
he's one time in it.
No, I got 2. I got
wearing
the
a kid's hat.
I got the 2, and brother, no, this is a full size adult's hat, and I need it just ain't enough, brother.
Hey I'll tell this one real quick. Jonas Jennings at Camp Sunshine one time, he had me crying, talking about how the offensive linemen, when they played for Coach Donnan, would walk up behind him, and instead of holding bunny ears behind his head, they would hold 1 because he had 1 snap on that hat. I said, that's how. And George Foster years later was talking about. I think he was talking about the time P. Diddy went after Jim Moore Jr. At practice or whatever, and he said, "Man, you wouldn't do that to Coach Donnan. He headbutted him and put him in a coma." That man had a head like, dude, like we used to tell our buddy Noah Roos, that dude's got a head like Easter Island.
Oh man, I have a head. My head is gigantic.
Yeah, my head weighs 11 pounds.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Tell me about Austin Blasky, man. We've heard so much about this guy.
His head also probably weighs 11 pounds.
Yeah.
No, Austin, man, he's been battling an illness during preseason practice. He lost a little bit of weight initially, but yesterday in the scrimmage, Ernest Green goes down. Ernest Green's going to be fine, from everything I've been able to tell. But Blasky came in and had a really good scrimmage there at left tackle. He snapped with the 1s yesterday with some centers. Some center snaps there. He snapped with the 2s. He played left tackle with the 2s. He played left tackle with the 1s. I think the only thing he didn't do that's in his tool bag is play right tackle. That's going to be a very valuable piece for Georgia's offensive line this year for sure. And he had a good practice. And, I think that's the guy, man. You want to talk about, you talked about Carson Beck a while ago, Roos, about, hey, you stick around, you kind of help us out. Austin Blasky is a guy that when you start talking about the offensive linemen who want to sign with Georgia, you can kind of point to number 58 there and you can say, hey, this is what happens if you stick around and you get a tribal tattoo on your right arm. You can do some stuff.
Superdome Roos.
Why did you say that about the tribal tattoo?
Because it's just prominent, dude.
Oh, it is. It's Goldberg-esque almost.
It is. Who's
Randy
next?
Orton. Randy Orton, maybe.
Who's next?
You see that tattoo? That's the kind of tat you want on your O lineman.
He looks like he is holding like one of those balls that the cheerleaders throw up into the stands right there.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
His hands are engulfing that ball.
Yeah. He's just mean.
Yeah, you were not thinking about Austin Blasky, though, as a potential starter when he joined the squad.
I tell you what, though. I tell you who did, and I got to give him a lot of props for it, is our man Joe Wyndon over at National Preps. Great friend of mine, great friend of DawgsHQ. You know him, Roos. Rusty knows him. We've all known him for a very long time. Used to coach O-line at Georgia Military. He's the dude. He is such a great evaluator. He does it for a living. I mean, folks don't understand what National Preps is. It is a recruiting service where schools from across the country pay National Prep's a flat fee to be like, hey, listen, we want your opinion. We want your reports on all these different guys. Joe covers the state of Georgia. And he told me before Matt Luke took over and eventually went after Austin Blasky, he said, listen, there's this kid down at, I believe, South Effingham. I knew it was Effingham, but county school, Falkville kid. And he said, hey, this cat is the real dude, is committed to NC State, but I think he down the line is going to be a very good offensive lineman. And I do know this. I know Georgia would probably play him at one of 5 positions and feel damn good about it.